CollectAWrestlePalooza, CollectAWrestlePalooza. Hello everyone, welcome to CollectAWrestlePalooza. I'm going to be doing another mailbag video today. Now I know what is in this package. I'm very excited to open it. Got it in the mail a couple days ago and moved it right to the top of the pile. I'm going to start by saying I spent $75 thereabouts for all of these cards. And I feel like that was a great bargain. I don't know, it's hard to find information on them, and I tried to do some research. I couldn't really find a metric to gauge the value, but I feel like $75 is a great deal for these cards. Just wait till you see them, and I'm excited to see them too. So let me open them up here. Couldn't find my sharp scissors, so I found these little ones in the kitchen drawer here. Seems like they're doing just as good. Cards are wrapped all individually, so I'll lay them out. Hope you guys are all having a great day. It's a Friday night. I'm going to be enjoying a 3-day weekend for Indigenous people on Monday. We have the day off from work. I'm very happy about that. Be sure to have Indigenous folks in my thoughts on Monday. See what we got here. First card is, look at this, Dory Funk Jr. This is a 1973 Wrestling Annual number 6 card. They're all numbered number 6. I'm not exactly sure why, but I'm guessing the magazine that came in is probably the Wrestling Annual magazine, and I'm guessing that it was the number 6 issue, but these are all 1973 cards. First one is Dory Funk Jr. It's graded only A for authentic, but in the pictures they all look to be pretty good, particularly for 1973 cards. I mean, that's in great shape. And they're all in SGC slabs. I'm guessing that PSA either doesn't grade these cards, or maybe these were graded recently after the PSA shutdown. So let's look at the information we get on Dory Funk Jr., of course, related to the great Terry Funk. I don't know if it's his father. I believe it is, but the Funk family has a great legacy in wrestling. Dory Funk Jr. began wrestling at the age of 6 and hasn't stopped. 6'1", 235-pound son of Dory Funk Sr. won the NWA heavyweight title from Gene Kiniski in February of 1969. And look at this card. It looks like it was just pulled from a pack yesterday. And looks like the back centering isn't great, but not too bad. Assuming that the bottom is supposed to be, the border is supposed to be bigger than the top. And it's crooked a little bit, and the right is a little bit big, but centering here doesn't look too bad on the picture on the front, and the corners look really sharp for an authentic card. On to number 2. Again, I bought these as a lot, about $75 or so for all of them. Couldn't believe it. Great packing job by the seller. Bruiser. Now, when I purchased this card, I wasn't sure if it just said Bruiser because they couldn't fit it on the slab, or if that was the wrestler's name, but now looking at the back of the card, I see that Bruiser was his name. It says, no wrestler on the face of the earth tougher than Bruiser. I found a lot of these cards tend to use superlatives to describe the wrestler, but apparently this guy is the toughest guy on the planet, on Earth, in 1973. 6'1", 240 pounds. He's one of the most vicious wrestlers in history. I'll have to go on YouTube and see if I can find any clips. He's still banned in certain states. Gosh, I definitely have to find some clips of him. He began his wrestling career in the 1950s, but just look at this guy. He looks like one of those guys that has a hard time putting on a tank top because his arms don't go up all the way, but very strong, built like a tree trunk. But it's a 7.5 in the SGC scale. That's pretty good. You know, a 1973 card, 7.5. Can't complain about that. Moving on to the back row here. Now, one of these cards is my all-time favorite wrestler. We'll see if it's this one. I have a weird feeling. I don't know why. Nope. Still pretty cool, though. Bobo Brazil in a 7. Bobo Brazil, of course, famous wrestler. You know, this card was probably of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that I purchased, the only one that was over, you know, $10 or so. Got them in auction. I don't know if people just didn't see the auction or if these cards really don't hold any value, but picked most of them up for under $10 each. Couldn't believe it. Is there a wrestling fan alive who has never heard of Bobo Brazil? Impossible. Coast to coast and all over the world, the name of Brazil is recognized as standing for excellence in this sport. Still is. Brazil for, of course, jiu-jitsu and Brazilian jiu-jitsu, the art of fighting. And I think back in the day, you know, wrestling and fighting and martial arts were a lot more intertwined, where people actually saw professional wrestling as a martial art, in a sense. They certainly believed the reality of the combat within the sport. He can be remembered and has grappled against every major star of the past 15 years. Always in excellent condition. 6'6", 280-pound star, big guy. Has long been wrestling, box office superstar. Bobo Brazil in a 7, SGC 7. Can you believe that? Pretty good grade. And I love the SGC slabs. I think they're really, really nice looking. I know some people call them the tuxedo slabs, but they're thick, they have some bulk. And then the cards themselves are actually in a plastic holder inside the slab. That's kind of a nice little feature. So that's not going anywhere. That's very well protected. And as of today, SGC is open for grading, so I've thought of sending some of my cards to SGC, waiting for PSA, but haven't done so. And here we are. Here's my favorite, Killer Kowalski in an A. It's just an authentic card, but man, oh man, a vintage Killer Kowalski card in a slab. Couldn't believe it. 1973. Corners look really good, very well centered. Let's see what they have to say about the great Killer Kowalski. The centering on the back is terrible, but that's okay. At age 14, Killer Kowalski failed a school physical examination with an exclamation point. Very important stuff. He was a 97-pound weakling. Sounds like a storybook here. But Killer began working with weights, became a strict vegetarian, and grew into a 6'4", 245-pound package of muscular dynamite. Kind of reminds me of the old Tony Atlas workout ads, you know, turned from a weakling into this overnight just by lifting weights. I guess you can. Former nice guy turned vicious. Killer's the man who bit off the late Yukon Eric's ear during one of their bloodbaths. Not true. It was a knee drop, but it's a nice sentiment the same to say he bit it off. He's held every major title except the big one, and is in such good shape he looks like he'll go on wrestling forever. I don't know what the big one means there. Maybe just the WWF title, the world title? Not sure. But anyway, great Killer Kowalski. Card number 5. Another 1973, of course. The great Verne Gagne. The Gagne family is well known for being just pedigree wrestlers. Most of them are bald, I think, but you know, I think that the fact that they had ownership of some of the territories, but then were also wrestlers, somewhat of a vanity affair, I guess, but they were pretty good entertainers as well, and of course, well-known names in the sport. Great Verne Gagne, and this one's in a 7, which again is a pretty high grade for SGC, particularly for a 1973 card. 1949, Verne Gagne made the most difficult decision of his life. The most difficult, I guess. He had to choose between pro football and pro wrestling. He made the right choice. Now, how do they know that? Well, I guess because he had a lot of success as a wrestler. 2 years later, he established himself as one of wrestling's premier stars, the AWA champion, the great AWA. Makes his home in Minnesota, is married, and his son, Greg, began his own pro mat career early in '73. 5'10" and only 230 pounds. He relies more on skill than size or strength. Think of him like a Ted DiBiase, you know, that type of build. Just more of a character wrestler, but Verne certainly had the skills in the ring as well. Last card of the bunch. Jack Brisco. For a second, I thought it was the Texas Tornado, Kerry Von Erich. You know, just the look of him with that beautiful flowing hair. But this is Jack Brisco in a 5.5. I know Jack Brisco is famous. I don't know much about him, but I definitely recognize the name. It says he turned pro, 6'1", 225. He can be considered a can't-miss heavyweight champion. There we go, of the future. So he has not been a champion at this point. He's from Oklahoma. He has thousands of adoring fans all over North America. I wonder how many are, you know, into him because of his good looks there. Especially in the Southeast, where he's the #1 man. Former National Intercollegiate Wrestling Champion. He's strictly science, and not since Dory Funk Jr.'s meteoric rise. We have a Dory Funk Jr. card. Of course, we opened earlier. To champion, has any youngster been as successful as Jack? There you have it. 6 vintage 1973 wrestling cards for about $75, all in slabs. I'm telling you guys, if you look around, there's some great deals out there in wrestling cards. You know, some stuff's overpriced, but if you make an effort, you can find some things that are great adds to your collection right now. So, as always, if you like this video, please be sure to subscribe. I'm looking for double digits in subscribers, hopefully within the next couple months. I've only got a few subscribers right now, and it would certainly give me motivation to keep posting wrestling card content if you guys give me feedback. So have a great day. Thanks for watching, and enjoy CollectAWrestlePalooza.